the experience of the application of this project for weeks 5 through 7 really gave me an opportunity to learn a whole lot more about some of the things that I've been experiencing, and to put those experiences into a context that gives me greater understanding. First and foremost is the various ways that you can feel when you're having a conversation about race. The compass. Many times there's a lot of emotion, and mainly I discovered about my emotion and my intellect, my reasoning, and my way of looking at it from a standpoint of truth. And then also looking at it from the point of view of, and it also changed me. I have to just add another point about that. Many things that I've experienced in the past, I questioned myself, and I wondered, are they manipulating me when I had I would have some conversations about race, and why would people always, they would get they would shut down or get angry, or say that what I was taking as being racist isn't racist. I was looking at it wrong as being a racist. That being said, I haven't experienced a lot of racism, and I've always been one to be an advocate to speak out against racial injustice. So, but the 12 ways that people of European descent respond to racism, or conversations about race, was enlightening, because it helped me to understand that I wasn't doing something wrong, that I wasn't seeing it from a clouded lens. Moving forward in my own profession, with my Project A, looking into the ways in which my organization promotes people from internally. And my Project A artifact was, I put in the application advertisement that they sent out, or email that they sent out to the entire Abu Dhabi education staff. And I also connected with that the application. And the application announcement went out in English and in Arabic, but the application itself was only in Arabic. And looking at that and thinking about that, and analyzing that, made me address one of the other things. It made me realize that was a part of a policy called Emirization. And Emirization gives me a lot of questions. Emirization is promoting Emiratis to positions of leadership, or positions of giving them priority in any government job opportunity, and also in the public sector. If there's a qualified Emirati, they are to be hired first. And on the surface, it sounds like affirmative action, an American version of affirmative action. But it really isn't, because affirmative action seeks a quota to at least include some African Americans. But Emirization is saying, Emiratis are to be considered for all government jobs, which is understandable, and at the same time, even in the private sector. So that's a little disturbing. So a further question for research for me is whether or not Emirization is approaching being a part of institutionalized racism, and what are, I guess, the questions and things I would like to research. What is the Emirati government, or in my case, the Abu Dhabi Education Council, going to do to ensure that within Emirization that fair opportunities exist for people for expatriates as well, and other Arab people who are not Emirati. And that takes us to my second project, which was to conduct a family journey interview with at least one student, one teacher, and one administrator. And I did that. I did that with a Emirati student. He's only in 5th grade, but very bright young man. And I learned a lot about his family, where they came from, and how long they've been here. So a lot of Emiratis migrated here, say 3-4 generations ago, but originally some of them came from Yemen. I discovered Oman and Saudi Arabia. And next, I guess the one that had the greatest impact was my journey with my Hoth. He's South African. And I always put South Africans in the suspect list as being, white South Africans or automatic racists, in my opinion, because I felt like they have benefited so much from injustice, racial injustice in South Africa. I could only see them as being a part of a racist conspiracy. But talking to Chris helped to soften me some, and to not become biased and discriminatory in my thoughts towards people who are South African. So, excuse me, that was very helpful. And then finally, having one courageous conversation with a friend. And that was unique in and of itself. We spoke about institutional racism in her profession and in mine, and that then again ties into Emirization. And we talked about white privilege, and I spoke about how uncomfortable I am with that term white privilege. And, looking back with what I've learned in the course, and how people of educated academia perpetrated false information or very tainted facts to suit a racist political point of view. And that's disturbing, reading about Professor Dr. Agassi. And that was something, but I always knew that, distorting the facts, defaming people of African descent. And the color code itself. I believe that the color code perpetuates racism in and of itself. And that is a problem. And when I had the conversation on race, Dr. Ana Maria Torres, she related to me how she felt that it was dangerous to connect white with privilege, because that is a label, that people can carry around with them. And everyone is not well-meaning like people in academia who are trying to have a conversation about race. There are other people, learned people, politicians, who will use the terminology to promote nationalism and racism within our society. So those are some of the things that were a little troubling about it. But overall, it's been a great experience. Learned a lot, changed a lot, and it gave me support for who I am and what I believed all along. I haven't been a equity warrior in the sense that I've been going out and fighting battles, but when things have come across before my eyes, I have taken a stance, and I don't normally let it slide. But now I have tools in which to be more successful at engaging the other party and not generating an antagonistic response of severe anger or something that damages the relationship in my professional career. So I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to learn and to put this in my repertoire of being and how I self-actualize and how I can go forth on my journey. Thank you.